Wake up the members of my nation. New iCarly trailer's out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I'm probably not going to watch whatever it is.
I will. I'm very curious. It looks okay.
Yeah.
I've rewatched episodes of iCarly recently, and I'm like, yep, I watched this when I was a child. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Jerry Trainor's funny.
Yeah. I know Jeanette McCurdy is basically just like, I want nothing to do with it.
She doesn't want to like. Well, it's more like she was abused on set.
That too, but
also cringe.
It's also cringe. Because every, like, quote I see, it's like, when she gives, like, the TLDR of why she's not doing the new iCarly, she's basically like, whenever I watch an old episode, I'm just like, I look like an idiot in front of the camera, and I don't like doing that. But, yeah, also, the Dan Schneider stuff, and extended. But, yeah.
Welcome back to Screen Weens, everyone. Welcome to episode 97. Woo! I'm London, that's Thomas. We're going to be talking about Andrea Arnold?
Andrew Arnold. No, that's it's like something I'll explain here in a minute. Andrea Arnold, yeah. She was credited as that once for like a TV episode she wrote. Yes. Intriguing.
We're talking about her and 4 of her feature-length films and 1 of her short films. Mm-hmm. I almost watched the other 2 because they were like 10 minutes each, and then I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah, I didn't watch
I was playing video games, and then you walked in. I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to watch those. Oh well, but before that, we're going to talk about random shit, probably.
Yep.
New Bo Burnham special's out.
I need to watch it.
It's very depressing.
Oh,
but it's good.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, it's very good. Probably the best thing I've seen that's been made this year.
Oh, nice.
Also watched... Did I watch A Quiet Place 2 last week?
I don't think so.
Okay. Watch A Quiet Place 2. It was decent. It was pretty good. Cillian Murphy's in it. He's really cool.
Still haven't seen the first one.
I really enjoy it. I like both. They're both well-made movies. 2 kind of feels like it's unneeded. A horror sequel that feels unnecessary? I know. Very shocking, but it's true.
Are you trying to say something? Are you trying to say, I'm offended? Every horror movie sequel I like has just taken offense. You will have to pay the price for what you have just said.
Creep 2.
Creep 2. I still haven't seen Creep 2. I've seen Creep 1.
And you weren't a fan. Thought it was okay, right?
I thought it was alright.
Yeah. Creep 2's better. I really like both, but Creep 2 is fantastic.
I plan on...
see Mark Duplass's penis in it.
I'll probably watch Creep 2 and Creep 3. Actually,
yeah, we'll cover them all. Terrifier 2 is going to be epic, though.
Whenever it decides to come out.
What are good horror sequels?
Well, I mean, technically, if you count it, Terrifier is kind of a sequel
to All Hallows Eve. Yeah, but that's not good. Neither of them are good. In fact, Terrifier might be worse.
What the fuck are you trying to say?
What the fuck?
Would you say that to your coworker?
Yes, I say it to him every time. Like, why the fuck do you have an Art the Clown tattoo?
Does he reply because he's a psychopath?
No, he says, it's a good movie.
Fair enough. Well, not really, but I'll allow it.
Yeah. Inferno's a good sequel. Good horror sequel.
It is.
Those are the 2. Creep 2 and Inferno.
I'd probably watch most
Halloween 3
of the Friday the 13th movies over the first one.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is the best one. Did I watch anything else this week? Chronicles of Riddick. Did I watch Pitch Black last week? Did I talk about that?
I don't think so.
We watched Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick. I had thought I had seen Pitch Black before, but I'd actually only seen the Chronicles of Riddick. That movie's just really long and has a lot of like stuff going on, so I thought it was 2 different movies from like childhood. Pitch Black's good though. It's fun. I really like Vin Diesel as Riddick because it's just like this like he just has his stupid fucking goggles and he's like this weird space dude with a ton of machismo. Like,
yeah,
it's a good role for Vin Diesel. But Pitch Black was pretty good. There's some fucking awful CG in it.
Oh yeah, like what? the late
2000,
early 2000.
The year 2000, yeah. But Chronicles of Riddick, I genuinely, like, really, really enjoyed. It's so fucking stupid and so fucking dumb, but really fun. The main villains of that are called the Necromongers.
Oh, very nice.
Lots of, like, space ghost stuff. It's my jam. Oh, fuck, it's hot. It's gonna get so hot in here. I'm gonna be sweating. Then we're recording a podcast right after this with 4 people. We'll take like a 10-minute break. I'll put the fan in. We'll start pouring ice. We'll just start filling the room with water.
Perfect.
We should start recording the podcast like outside, like in their backyard.
True.
God, there are flies in here too. I'm gonna fucking...
Yeah. Didn't get it. I tried.
And let me check if I've watched anything else this week. My TikTok was open. We did watch... I watched Open Range, which is it's a Western film directed by Kevin Costner from like 2003 or so. Awesome. It was an awesome movie. Super slow burn. It has like a really young Diego Luna in it. It was awesome though. I really, really enjoyed the movie. Beautiful. Beautiful movie.
Okay.
Highly recommend.
I'll have to check that out.
It was on the recommendation of my boss. And... Oh yeah, we watched the Nickelback One Piece movie.
Oh yeah, I saw your review for it.
Yeah.
I pretty much agree with your
holy
critique.
shit, that was rough.
Like, I think that would be like the top tier One Piece movie, if not for that one fucking plot thread where it's like, why? Why did you include this? It's not relevant to the overall
And Oda
story.
like wrote that movie, right? Like that was one of the 4 like he like had a bigger hand in. What the fuck's wrong with sometimes Oda freaks me the fuck out. Like to the point that I'm like, somebody check Oda's closet. Or he thinks it's funny, which isn't as bad, but still, it's like a little rough.
I mean, I really can't comment on it a whole lot. I mean, obviously, it's kind of like a well-known fact that he worked under Watsky, who did fucking Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope not.
Yeah.
I sincerely fucking hope not.
Because if that happened, I would just drop One Piece. Like, I really like One Piece, but I don't give a shit. I'd just be like, bye.
God. I would struggle. I would struggle a lot, because I've been with One Piece for...
Yeah, I know. But, like, even... Like, I was going to say, even if the guy who made Star Wars, but I'm just like, Star Wars is such a big thing that, like, you don't just, like, cut it out. But, like, let's say Rian Johnson something went up. I'd just drop Last Jedi. I don't give a shit that it's, like, one of my favorite movies. I'd be like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Maybe once he dies. I feel very strongly about these things. But I understand people that, like, can't. It's just, like...
See, I look at the series kind of view on that subject matter, and I'm like, alright, well, obviously none of the characters here would fucking allow that behavior. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping Oda wouldn't. But
yeah.
You never know. You never know. So, we watched a lot of depressing movies this week.
Yeah, we did. And then that Bo Burnham special definitely didn't help either. I watched that first, and then I'm like, okay, time to watch some of these movies. And I'm like, maybe one of these is going to be nice. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, and then I watched Rise of Skywalker.
And you loved it.
I did. I thought it was the best Star Wars movie. I gave it a 10 out of 10 on Letterboxd.
I saw it. I'm like, this has got to be a fucking joke.
I thought about giving it like a high, but like more realistic number, like a 7 or probably.
I'd be like, this is a lot.
Yeah,
no matter what, I don't know what you would give it realistically, but I'm like, there's no fucking way it's anything above like a 5.
Probably like a 2, maybe a light 3.
Yeah.
But
I have a feeling that if I watch it again, it's just going to keep going down.
There's like stuff I like in the movie. It's just
like the slug guy.
out. Yeah, like
he's
the
cool.
slug guy. Babu Freak. I liked like some of the characters they introduced. They just didn't do anything with them, and they didn't do anything with the characters that they introduced. In the last
Christ,
two
what they did to Rose! It's literally
I know.
And what pisses me off the most about that is the interviews before the movie came out, where J.J. Abrams was like, "Thank you, Rian Johnson, for introducing such a great character. I can't wait to do some really cool things with her." And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
things.
She stands around Leia in her final, like, not
like, sorry, I can't come, guys.
But like hours, because like she's not even there when she dies.
I can't come on your adventure. Sorry.
Yeah, I think
Kylo Ren must lose.
The only actual bit where she triggers an effect in the plot is where she lets Poe know that Finn is still on that ship. I think that's like the most they give her to do.
My cat scratched me a bunch yesterday.
What did you do?
Pierre was leaving. He opened the door. Another cat ran into the apartment.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is not good. Because Allie does not like other cats. Because he's like an indoor cat only. So every other cat, he's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So they started like chasing each other. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, I'm not going to grab a strange cat. Because that would be worse. Because I know Allie doesn't have any like illnesses, so I picked out him and started screaming. I'm like, ah! So I threw him in the other room, and then I just kind of took a pillow and just like slowly guided the other cat out. I'm like, okay, time to go home, and then he ran out. And he was like a nice cat, like once they weren't like. Also, Allie got really scared because he was outside on the porch. And then was walking in as the cat was like sitting there, like right after, and the cat immediately went, ah! And Allie was jumped and was like, what the fuck?
Nice.
So it was a fun end of the night. Right after I finished watching Wuthering Heights. And I did that. I cleaned my wounds and then watched Red Road.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what order did you watch?
I watched... Yeah, I guess we'll jump in a second. I watched them... weird order. Fish Tank. Wasp. Wuthering Heights, Red Road, American Honey.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to save the long one for like last. I'm like, I'll just save because I felt like I couldn't do it at the end of last night. I'm like, oh, it's too long. I just watched like 3 movies in a row. I'm like, I need to take it easy. Red Road, take it easy, you know. And so I woke up this morning and was like, time to watch a nice little movie about a young girl who goes on an adventure. Yeah, lots of rough movies. Very reminiscent of like our episode on leeching, though. Just like, hey, you want to watch a bunch of downers?
Yeah.
Or even like Kelly Reichardt.
Yeah.
Most of her movies were downers.
Most of them were, yeah.
Were any of them, like, not just sad?
There was, like, the couple that were, like, less sad.
Yeah, like, Night Moves wasn't super sad, I guess, because it was more, like, structured as a thriller. That's the one where they're like, the environmental terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, the structure of that. And, like... I guess certain women, because they were more like vignettes, you don't sit on them long enough. Like Wendy and Lucy is like, my dog. He's like, no!
Yeah.
No!
Like, just let this poor woman live in her car with her dog.
A lot of, actually, American Honey reminded me a lot of Wendy and Lucy.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes where I could kind of feel that.
And even like Fish Tank, like they all kind of talk about the same like type of people. Like, Yeah. But let's jump into. Oh no, we have questions from Pierre from last week. He didn't send any more this week. But
okay.
He sent
it all evens out.
Yeah.
He's too busy reading the third Thrawn book.
198 subscribers, by the way.
Woo!
Oh, Jesus, the wrong turns videos keep going. So 14,000 now. Just keeps going.
Man, I don't know what it is, but okay.
And it's all people from India. Like, I keep checking the engagement, the audience for that. It's all, Why
Do they
do
watch
so
the
many
whole
people in
thing, or
India?
do they just like click on it and go, no?
Well, I think they're looking for watching the actual Wrong Turn movie.
They're like, oh, this is a 2-hour
Yeah.
video. Not really. It's probably like, what, 45 minutes, that one? Can't imagine it was super long.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. Let's see.
But, damn.
It's an hour and 8 minutes.
Okay.
I can believe that Wrong Turn as a movie is an hour and 8 minutes. Like, a lot of bottom of the barrel, like, horror movies are like, what's the lowest we can make?
True.
Question 1. When do you plan on learning to play an instrument? I already know how to play the instrument. It's called... These nuts. I tried to learn to play the guitar. I tried to learn to play the piano. But the thing is, I have no patience for anything that I do. So I stopped. You know how to play an instrument?
I was learning there on the ukulele there for a little while, but I didn't make it very far. And then I've got a keyboard. I want to learn how to play that, but I don't know. I've got short, stubby fingers and just not a whole lot of determination when it comes to that. If anything, I'll just learn how to like make music in FL Studio and just do it like on a chart kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no instruments. Probably not in the future.
Question 2. Who wins in a fight, Obama or Rock Lee?
Rock Lee.
Does Obama have his drones?
Does Rock Lee open all 8 gates?
I don't know what that means. I'll say Rock Lee too, because he has a cooler name than Obama. Number 3. What do you think about story series where the main character becomes the villain in a sequel? Doesn't happen a lot. I'm trying to think of...
Star Wars is probably like the go-to example.
Yeah. I mean, if we're I love it.
Yeah. I like it if I think it's built up to well enough. Like, as long as there's clues that the good guy is going to go bad at some point, then I'm fine with it. But if it just kind of comes out of the blue, it might feel a little jarring. Unless they build up to it.
It happens in Pacific Rim.
The first one?
In the second one. Or is that's a spoiler for the second movie, so I won't say anymore.
Okay.
That movie's dumb, but I really like that movie. At least I liked it when I saw it in theaters. I'm like, this is a big dumb robot fight? That's my jam.
Yeah.
It's all I want. That's like, I think most people's problem with that is the first one tried to be more than that, and it succeeded, in my opinion, of being more than just big dumb robot fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with just watching big dumb robot fight, so.
Fair.
They're just very different movies. Yeah. Thanks for the questions, Pierre. Let's talk about Andrea Arnold.
Pull up my notes.
I need to get like a regular. Let's just like, I think a fan.
Oh, yeah. Alright.
I'll use these scissors.
There you go. So, she was born in Dartford, Kent, which is a South England country.
Yeah.
She was the oldest of 4 children. Her parents were 16 and 17 when she was born, and they split up fairly early on into her life.
Makes sense.
Leaving her mother to raise just the 4 of them. Things are starting to click together here.
I see some puzzles coming from the sides.
Yeah. She always enjoyed exploring dark subject matter. At 10, she wrote a play about the horrors of slave trading. And a couple years later, while she was studying for dance, she did a performative piece where she basically walked around a room and read quotes from the Diary of Anne Frank. Yeah, so she left school at 16 to become an actor. And she, by 18, actually landed a gig as a host for this children's show.
For Saturday Night Live!
Number 73.
Numbers. That sounds like That sounds like a bad horror movie.
Right.
Number 73.
She worked on TV for about 10 years before she was like, I'm going to go study film in Los Angeles. So she went to the AFI of Los Angeles. And yeah, she studied there. She said that she felt like she experienced, let me see, the way she worded it. She said she felt a lack of proper education. Yeah, a lack of proper education and accent held her back in the eyes of her gatekeepers. So,
classism.
Yes.
Huh. Hey, that's another thing that maybe she explores in her movies. Huh.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah, so then she graduated, she moved to Britain, had a daughter, and started making short films for TV. She made one short film called Wasp, won a bunch of awards in 2003, including what is it?
The Big Mama Award.
The Academy Award for Best Live Action Short.
Oh, nice.
And she was named a Screen International Star of Tomorrow. And this is the same year that she wrote that, or directed that TV episode where she was miscredited as a man. Yeah. So then, yeah. She made Red Road.
Even when women are winning, they're losing.
Right? But yeah, she made Red Road, which was part of this...
It's like loose trilogy.
Yeah.
The third one didn't
The
get
Advance
made.
Party. Yeah.
Or it's still in production limbo.
Yeah, right. It's not coming out. Because Red Road came out in 2006. The next movie was Donkeys. That came out in 2010. And then the third film, which was... What was it?
Does it even have a title?
Copenhagen. Never came out. So yeah, she basically, after making Red Road, she started getting bigger actors like Michael Fassbender saw Red Road and he's like, I have to work with her. And she's like, I've got this perfect role for you.
Do you want to be the worst? And he's like, yeah.
He was basically like, well, I want to work with you, so I guess. So, yeah, he was in that movie. And yeah, she just kept making movies.
Fish Tank. And then she did she do Wuthering Heights right after Fish Tank? 2011.
Yeah. And then a handful of years later, she did fucking American Honey. And then, because that came out in 2017?
16, I think.
16, yeah. And yeah, she then went on to work for Big Little Lies.
Yeah, she was a producer on that. And she a writer on that. I've heard that show's really good.
Yeah, I guess something happened during the second season, though, where she basically just, she did a lot of the, work when filming, and then basically, the director of the first season was like, no, you have to, I'm in control here, and, made her go through, a bunch of, extensive reshoots and basically, butchered what she had made for it. So she wasn't super happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's producing a documentary about cows or something right now. I don't know. I didn't look too deep into it.
I gotta get a better chair. This fucking chair kills me every time.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing this fucking blanket to put under this chair. Oh.
But yeah. It's pretty much Andrea Arnold.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
I'm too tall now. Fuck. I'm always too fucking tall. Andrea Arnold, put me in one of your movies. I'm incredibly depressed. I can do it.
Yeah.
Playing a little footsie with you. Alright, let's do it. Let's talk about Wasp. Ooh, that's CG Wasp.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
It's just, I understand how they had to do it, and it's a short film, it's fine, but man, that took me out of it. I was just it's a wasp, I see.
Yeah. There's also a point, oh wait, no, I think they revealed that was a doll, actually. So there's a point where it took me a second to realize that they had the doll in like the stroller, but there was a point where like there was a straight up baby doll in the stroller, and I thought it was supposed to be the baby.
No, because there was two. There was the regular stroller that the older sister had, and then the little girl had the baby doll.
Yeah, there were some scenes where she was just like hauling ass. I'm like, oh no, like, the baby.
Especially after watching Fish Tank, like, so what's gonna happen?
This was the first one I watched. I watched them mostly in order because I watched this. I watched Fish Tank because I thought this was the next one, or that was the next one. And then I was like, oh fuck, I missed Red Road, so I went and watched that. Then I watched American Honey, then Wuthering Heights today. Anyway, yeah, basically this movie is about a single mother who is basically like,
I need to go on a date.
She needs to go on a date. She just gets back from beating the shit out of some mom who smacked her kid.
She's like, I will fucking end you.
She didn't really beat the shit out of that mom. That mom, if anything, beat the shit out of her because she pins her down, and this is basically like, I'm gonna call CPS on your ass. And she's like, let me go. Don't hit my kids, you bitch. So yeah, basically.
But she tries.
She tries. She stood up for her beliefs of not letting strangers hit her kids.
Yeah, I would also stand up for that.
I don't know if I would have brought my kids with me to the show, but, you know.
Look how cool your mom is.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically after that, she's on her way home when she comes across, like, I guess, like an old flame of sorts who asks her out. And she lies about the kids.
She's like, I'm just watching him, you love. Yeah, I'll drop them off at home. That's what they all sound like. British people, am I right?
Whoa. But, so yeah. So she's goes through with it. She takes the kids on the date with her, but she basically just sit outside the bar. And the date goes on for a really long time, and she doesn't have money to, like, buy her kids food. And yeah, it basically ends with like the baby just getting like periodically more hungry over the course of this date. And the mom's like, don't bother me unless it's an emergency. So like they end up like feeding the baby some like dropped ribs. And that's not the problem. The problem is that the barbecue sauce on its face attracts a wasp that almost stings.
It like crawls in his mouth.
Yeah, so the mom like freaks the fuck out, and it's like, what the fuck? You're a shitty mom, at least in this given scenario. Because I get it. I get wanting to go out, especially if it's like a situation that may have been like her actual real life situation where like they just split up and the mom got stuck with all the kids or whatever. And it's like, I get it, but damn, like,
yeah, there's a lot of shitty parents in this, but I feel like we shouldn't necessarily view them as shitty parents in the context of the films, and more as just like people stuck in really shitty situations. Because I feel like in general, Andrea Arnold wants to have her movies be a criticism of like the society that surrounds situations like this more than the people themselves, like the situations that arise that make things like this possible. You can still say she's a shitty mom. She's a shitty mom, but
no, I get what you mean. Yeah. But yeah, and then the date basically sees that she has all these kids that are hungry, and he buys them some.
Yeah, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Huh?
Yeah.
And he just takes him on a drive, drives him back home, and he's basically like, all right, well, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
This might be the most hopeful ending out of all of them. All of the films.
Yeah.
Maybe. Pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
For a short film, I understand why this won a bunch of awards. Like, the mom, for being a shitty mom, the performance is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks nice. Like, she has a pretty signature look throughout all her movies. Mm-hmm. Like, pretty up close and personal, and I think it works well for pretty much all the movies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is really solid, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's like the scenario is ripe for a short film. It's just like pretty much the right amount of time it needs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Any longer, and I'd be like, yeah, that's too long. No, there's not enough substance here. But for this, and I really like the scenario that it's just immediately like, hey, going on a date tonight. That's where we begin.
Yeah.
And where it ends, there's a little bit of hope. There's like a tiny bit of hope that, hey, maybe things might get a little better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Did you rate this one? Do you rate short films? I don't know. I rate short films.
I make it 10, like, I used to. I don't now. But, I mean, I could probably assign this one a rating, since...
It's a 6. Cool.
You would give this... Well, 7?
Yeah. Next up, Red Road. Fucked up movie.
This is a fucked up.
Really, really cool. I really like the premise of this. I haven't seen a movie before where like somebody's a CCTV like operator. Like that's really cool. I've seen stuff that's like similar to it.
Yeah,
like it kind of, the premise of it kind of reminded me of like, I think it's called like The Call, that like Halle Berry like thriller where she's like a 911 operator.
Yeah.
Like, it's similar to that because they're mostly just, like, viewing the streets, like, who's doing crime? Needs help? But,
yeah.
And I really, most of this movie's just a drama, but I really like that a lot of the scenes shot-wise feel like a thriller, or like, it's like, ooh, kind of, it's like, it's a bad way of explaining it. I'm just kind of making motions with my hands.
Yeah. Yeah, so this movie is about a woman who basically has this job, and she realizes through this job that, basically, spoiler alert.
The man who was responsible for her husband and her child's death got out of jail early. Yeah. He was supposed to be in prison for like 10 years. He's out in like 5 or some shit. 4. Like really early.
He was like driving under the influence
of crack.
Yeah. Yes. So he ended up like hitting them while they were on the corner.
So this hit like closer to home than I expected, because I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about that person that I was friends with in high school that pretty much they did this. Like they were under the influence and they killed someone. Someone was like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, so she basically is trying to keep an eye on him, trying to bust him for something, and she kind of goes to some desperate lengths.
Yeah, like at one point she's following him, she picks up like a piece of broken glass. I'm like, is she about to murder him?
Yeah. I figured that was like an insurance thing.
But then she starts like trying to befriend him to get more information on him, and eventually she sleeps with him and then stages it as if it was a rape. And gets him sent to jail, but then drops the charges on him because like he had talked about like his daughter that hasn't seen in a long time and stuff like that, and she feels bad for him. And then they have a final like confrontation where she's like, "You killed my family!"
And he's like, "Yeah, shit happens. Yeah. Sorry,
like, I didn't. I yelled at them before they left." Pretty much. And then they have kind of a pseudo-bonding experience, I guess, where they kind of reflect on things. Yeah. I like how messy, like, the reflections are in this movie. Because nothing's, like, neat in it, because life, that would not be a neat situation at all.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. No, this movie, I wasn't really with it for the first, like, 2/3 of it. Like, it took a while to kind of get going. But once it started getting to, like, what it was building up to, I was like, okay, I'm starting to enjoy this one a lot more.
Maybe it's because I was kind of used to her directing. This was one of the last movies I watched, so I was more used to it. So I was pretty intrigued with the first couple, especially because at that point I'm like, something big's gonna fucking happen. I'd already watched Fish Tank, so I'm like...
Yeah.
But, I really enjoyed the first 2/3, but I do think that the last third is definitely like the most stuff happens, and it's probably the most intriguing element of the movie. Like it has a really strong climax.
Yeah. I really don't have a whole lot to say on this one. Like,
yeah, Tony Curran is the, like, I guess the antagonist of this movie. He's really good. I really like him. I like the main lady too. but I think I like him more because he's like a really good like sleaze bag. He's the worst, but then she's like, wait, but he's protecting his friend.
Yeah, he's got moments where he comes off as like kind of like stupidly charming. Like there's the scene where he's like trying to seduce me. He's like, man, you're a sexy bitch, and it's just like so fucking.
I want to lick your cunt.
It's just like,
does that make you horny, baby? No, that's why he's a very strange character with like a certain charm at points, and then other times he's just really fucking creepy. I'm like, what the fuck? So I like he's very multi-dimensional.
There's multiple points where I was like, because like the whole like first chunk of the film, I'm like, did he like rape her or something? And that's what this film.
At first, when I saw like. They were talking about, like, the husband being gone. I thought he was, like, an actual murderer. That's why I was, like... And it was, like, is she gonna murder the murderer? I'm like, ooh. But it was an accident, I guess.
Yeah. But, yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah. You would give this one a 6 as well?
Yeah. Wow. You would give this one... I don't know, an 8?
I would give this one a 7 as well.
Oh, okay. Shot too high.
Fish tank. I really like this one.
I also really like this one. This is probably tied for my favorite out of all of them.
This one's my favorite. I really enjoy this one. This one's fucked up as shit.
Yeah.
And it gave me a weird, like... I had to, like, think about this, like, ethically for a bit, because, like... The thing that happens in this movie, like the big thing, like they had to actually do that. I'm like, is that ethical to do with a minor, even if it's for a movie? She was 17.
Oh, that's gross.
And I'm like,
I thought she was 19, and I was like, oh, that's
I thought she was 17 because I think she was 18 when the movie came out.
Oh.
There's some weird stuff about it. Overall, while I think that so in the movie, 15-year-old. She's like, hey, I love to dance. I love to appropriate black culture. That's like a lot of this movie. A lot of, like, that's an overarching theme in a lot of her movies. Mm-hmm. Like, the appropriate, like, the just, like, super casual appropriation of, like, others' cultures in poor, like, white communities or, like, smaller white communities. It happens a lot in this, and it happens a lot in American Honey. Like, a lot in American Honey.
Yeah.
Every time they're in the band, they're just like, let's say the N-word to every song that comes on the radio.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I'm like, and the only black character is the main one. The only one who's not singing along. I see what you're saying, Miss Arnold. But yeah, she's like this dancer. She has no friends. The only friend she had like isn't hanging out with her anymore. So she like breaks a girl's nose with her head. But her mom hates her. Her mom's the worst. Her mom, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. But her mom starts being nicer because she gets a new boyfriend. It's Magneto. It's Michael Fassbender, and he's pretty creepy right off the bat. But sometimes it's like. Maybe he's just being a weirdo. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what's gonna happen, but like, maybe.
There's part of me that was hoping, I'm like, maybe he's just a positive figure who's just maybe crosses that line unknowingly.
Yeah, eventually, they all bond pretty much, but eventually he makes a move on her while he's drunk, and they make out and then have sex. That's the thing because like. While I don't think it's okay for, like, children, like, 17-year-olds to be in a relationship with a 32-year-old, I do think that 17-year-olds can consent to kissing a adult in a movie, like, as a job.
I mean, I think that's fair.
I understand that it's like, I get both sides. Like, I understand if you're like, what the fuck? I'm also more comfortable that a woman was directing this movie. If it was someone, like... Any male director, I'd probably be fucking creeped out as hell.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That was the only thing that was like...
Yeah.
But it was like a really shocking, powerful scene. Like
I wasn't really thinking about it at the time, because like, I watched the movie with the mindset that it's like, okay, she's like, still young, but like, above that threshold, but I guess not. But... Yeah, no. Now that you say that, looking back at it, it just adds that extra layer of like.
Overall, I think it's fine. It's definitely on that line, but
yeah,
it's fine. But yeah, it's a really fucked up scene. Then he is like, this is a mistake. He goes to bed, and then the next morning he's like, I'm fucking leaving. I'm breaking up with the mom. She's like, oh, fuck, no. So she like chases after him, the daughter. Finds out, what the fuck? He has a wife. He has a daughter. So she does what any normal person, any sane person, any reasonable person would do. She pisses on his carpet, kidnaps his daughter. Classic. Accidentally almost drowns the daughter. After that, she's like, okay, maybe this wasn't a great idea. Drops the daughter back at home, starts walking home. Then Michael Fassbender finds her and punches her in the face. I thought he was just going to murder her right there. I'm like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But he just slaps her and then walks away. And then the next morning, or like the next day, or a couple days later, she's leaving pretty much. She goes to like a dance audition. There was like this overarching theme, but it has the same thing. It has this like undertones of like, hey, these are adults sexualizing these children. They're like, hey, do you have any like go-go shorts, or do you have any? She's like, no. And immediately before, this girl was like literally just like crawling on the ground, like,
yeah.
And she, not only that, but she's also dancing a song that's Michael Fassbender character's favorite song. So both of those things together, she's like, I'm out of here. And she gets sent to like a boarding school by her mother. And right before she leaves, oh wait, no, she doesn't go. She goes with somebody else, doesn't she?
She goes with Horse Boy. The horse killer guy.
Yeah.
I highly doubt he was the one who actually killed
There is
the
another
horse,
side plot where she finds like this horse. Can you just own a horse in England? Can you just like have one on your property?
I guess.
Yeah. Or do they just not care? That is probably the latter, actually. She like finds this horse and tries to get it, like let it go. It doesn't go so well. She comes back and then is like assaulted by these two guys. She comes back again because she dropped all her stuff, and then their brother's there, and he's like the only one that's nice to her. Pretty much, they become friends. That's the only part of the movie that you're actually like, she's having fun.
Yeah,
yay for her.
It's like, yeah, hopefully this plot line doesn't end as darkly as the rest of them do. Next
movie she makes is it's a sequel. It's a 14-year time skip. She starts making like a before trilogy with this character from Fish Tank. That's a great idea.
I mean, I'd be down for a movie where she's like much older and realizes, fuck that guy, and goes after him.
Yeah.
But
she just, because obviously like statute of limitations would apply, but she just like starts turning his family against him. She's like, hey, guess what? Your dad fucked me when I was 15. Remember me? I kidnapped you.
Yeah, and you know that little girl's gonna grow up always like distrusting her dad. She straight up goes like, oh, you're just as bad as your father. So it's like, that's probably gonna stick with her.
There's a lot of traumatic elements to this movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's just traumatized. But right before she leaves to go with her horse boyfriend,
she dances to Nos
with her mother.
Life's a bitch when you die. That's why we get high.
She's like, I actually quite like this song. She's like, well, then keep it, Mum. Keep it to remember me by. And then right before she leaves, her little sister like runs out and is like, I hate you, you fucking cunt. She's like, I hate you too. And they cry. She's like, don't forget to text me, you twat.
Yeah, give all the Welsh people my regards.
She said, no, she says, say hello to the whales.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it has this is probably one of the nicer endings too, but it's still like, hey, Michael Fassbender just got away with being a pedophile. So it's like,
yeah, that part of the plot.
There's a lot of like, sure, she's gonna be hopefully okay, but there's a lot of long-standing trauma that might come from that situation. Like,
of course.
So there's the moment of like, hey, this is nice, but there's a lot of things that you think about, like, oh, this whole family's fucked still.
Oh yeah.
Especially now that the other kid doesn't have another sibling to protect them.
So she's probably going to go to boarding school.
The other kid, yeah, maybe.
Because they mentioned that already. They're
hopefully.
The little one's going down the same fucking route.
Yeah, but I thought this movie was awesome.
Yeah.
I actually really like the way that they provide, like, context for time periods in these movies with just, like, songs that are popular at that time. I think they fit really well with this, like, these movies. Especially in this and, like, American Honey. I think all the songs, a lot of them, like, I don't necessarily like as songs. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of songs in this I like, but American Honey, a lot of songs, I'm like, these songs are garbage. Holy shit, I forgot about these songs. But I think it fits well with the characters. I think it works fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like this movie.
I also really like this movie. Yeah. You would give it... Nine.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think you're quite there. I think you're at an 8.
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights.
Based on a book that I still haven't read.
I
remember, like, talking about it in, like, 4 of my English... Like, every English class, I feel like we talked about Wuthering Heights. Never read it, though. I'm interested in reading it because I know, like... I'm pretty sure the book has a lot of, like, non-linear storytelling and stuff that they just kind of pushed aside for this movie.
Yeah, I heard that this wasn't, like, the most... It's not, like, unfaithful in the events, but, like, just kind of, like, the way it's portrayed.
I do think it's an interesting, like... An interesting idea to cast a black person in the main role. Like, it's interesting, and it does recontextualize, like, the text that I was reading. I'm like, okay, I get this. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times they call them by the slur for Romani people. Like, that's how they describe them. So she's like, I should get, like, a dark-skinned person. Originally she was looking for, like, Romani people to be in this role, and she just couldn't find it. So she just... Boop. And this guy, the guy who played... Actually, I don't know about the younger Heathcliff, but older Heathcliff, I don't think he's been in, like, anything else. A lot of the actors for this, like, Fish Tank, the main character, she's been in, like, 2 other things since then. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of these are just, like, no. Like, they just don't act.
Yeah.
Or they don't act a lot. Maybe they're in, like, England commercials or TV. I don't know. I try my very best not to see England. My name's London, though, so it's a little hard.
Yeah.
Every time I write out my name, I'm reminded, I'm like, God damn it, England. You exist? But, yeah. So, overall, Wuthering Heights, pretty easy. This young black kid is pretty much adopted by a farmer, like a wealthy farmer who has farmland in the middle of nowhere, this place called Wuthering Heights. His son's super fucking racist and, like, immediately calls him the N-word. He's like, "What? I'm not gonna be friends with a blue blah blah." Mm-hmm. And the daughter at first, like, spits on him, but then afterwards she's like, "La la la la, you want to be friends?" I'm like, "Why did you spit on him? What was that? Why?" And there's no connecting where it's like, "Oh, I'm slowly warming up," just immediately. She's like, "You want to be friends now?"
Yeah.
But anyway, they kind of fall in love. The dad dies. When the dad dies, the son's like, I control the power now. And makes him sleep in, like, the barn or some shit.
Yeah, forbids him from talking to her.
They still do, though. But eventually he leaves because she decides that she's gonna marry this other dude, this other rich farmer dude. And she's like, I can't marry Heathcliff because he's dirty and doesn't think well of himself. I'm like, what? He's beneath me now. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? She's a bitch. I'm sorry. She's not a very nice character. I don't know if that's the point. I'm like, is that how it was in the original, like, book? Because, like, I'm not getting it. She's nice to him at first, but then she's like, and her adult version is really manipulative to, like, him and her husband. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And
the story just feels like a bunch of people just, like, poisoning each other slowly over a period of years.
But then he kind of just leaves in the night, and then it cuts to a number of years later. I'm guessing like 8 or something. Oh, yeah, I guess we could tell by the baby. He's now like a kid. Yeah, so probably like 8 or 10 years. she's married to Edgar. He goes back to his old house, and Bald Boy, his brother's still like, "Oh, you're back! I got rooms for rent." Jesus Christ, he's bad in the first half, but he's the worst in the second half. Because Heathcliff will be being nice to him and, like, giving him money, and he'll be like, "I know you're a thieving," and he'll just call him the N-word again. I'm like, he's giving you money! This is the only way you're staying alive, you piece of shit!
Yeah. Well, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. But he comes back, and he's like, telling her that he was like, "I came back to say hi to you and then kill myself, but I've decided I'm never leaving your side again." I'm just like, why tell her the first part?
Right.
Because it seems like now you're just trying to manipulate her. Yeah. And then she eventually just, they start hanging out again. Her husband's like, "Hey, don't really like where this is going." But he doesn't care. Nobody cares. They don't care about him. And at one point, he's like, "You have to decide, me or him." And she immediately just starts sobbing. And I'm like, that's a pretty reasonable thing to ask, I think. Like, your husband.
Yeah.
But immediately, Heathcliff just starts, like, biting him. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't you want to know the answer to this, too?
Yeah. And then it's just like, well, if you had a chance, your chances just went significantly down.
Especially because then she just dies of the plague or whatever. Whatever had killed everyone else.
Yeah.
Pneumonia.
She tells Heathcliff on her deathbed, she's basically like, "You two killed me." And it's like,
No, he didn't. And then he, like, gets, I guess he was the next in the will to get the farm. Which makes sense because, like, the son had been working, I guess she technically owned the farm. And the son was just, like, working for it. And she was just like, "Yeah, you can have it." Because he had been, like, disowned by his dad and, like, sent off right before or something. So I guess Heathcliff would have been the next. I think that's what happened. I'm going to be honest. I was zoning out by that in this movie. I was like,
I figured he had just bought it because his character is rich.
Maybe that's true. But he has it, and then he just kind of walks in the field and the movie ends.
Yeah, he sees, like, a feather, which that was, like, something they did with their kids. Like, she, like, rubbed a feather in his face or something.
Yeah, that was, like, she was teaching them butthole or some fucking butt rock. Yeah, I didn't like this movie. I wasn't a fan. I really like, I don't know. I either really like period pieces or really don't. But I wasn't a fan of this one. I thought it was pretty boring. And yeah, I didn't like, I feel like the non-linear storytelling of, like, the original book probably would have helped it a lot, but yeah, the momentum there was, like, no momentum for me in this movie. I just was trying to get focused and into the movie, and I was just like, I don't find anything in this compelling or interesting. I think it was a beautiful movie. I really liked the look of it. A lot of it reminded me of, like, a lot of bleak things we've watched, like, I don't know, The Witch or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What did you think of the movie?
I like this one quite a bit.
Oh wow! Look at this. We're on a boop boop. I was really into it, like, the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was just like,
this is a movie that I definitely get more, like, emotion out of substance, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to read the book and know if it's, like, the same or if it'd be different. Yeah, because I had a close friend that was, like, telling me about this book in high school, so I just found it kind of, like, interesting to like, finally kind of, like, somewhat see it through. Obviously, it's a different interpretation because it's the movie and not the book, but yeah, I don't know. I found it interesting enough. I found fucking Heathcliff to be pretty interesting character. He definitely had a lot of shortcomings. I don't like the fact that he abused animals when he was angry. That was like, oh, I don't like that. And I don't like that the kid did the same thing at the end. He's like, there's a scene where the kid's just picking up, like, dogs by the collar and putting it on a tree.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is going on? And the main issue I have with that is that's never really explored as a character thing. It just kind of happens. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
excuse me?
I'm not sure.
Is that like how you clean a dog or something in the medieval times?
Maybe, but yeah. I don't know.
Jesus Christ! I need to cut my hair. No, I'm not cutting my hair. But every time it gets hot, I'm like, maybe I should just cut my hair.
I feel it, but
Joe's living it up over there, being a baldy.
It's just the pure sun heat on his head. But yeah,
I'm glad you like this one. I really wanted to, and I'm really interested in like William Wyler did a movie of this in like the 30s or 40s or something like that, and I've heard that one's pretty good. I want to try this. I do want to read the book. I'm guessing I'm going to finish. I'm currently reading a Star Wars book. I'm guessing once I'm done with that, I'm going to try to take a break from Star Wars for a little bit, because not that I'm not enjoying it, but I feel like I'm just going to get stuck in the phase where I'm like, I'm only reading Star Wars books. I want to branch out a little more because I have other actual books that aren't Star Wars related that I've been wanting to read for years. And I'm guessing I'll probably... I want to read a fucking copy of Little Women I bought.
Yeah, I thought about that being one of the Reed Weens picks, just like sitting down.
It would be me and you being like, this is so fucking awesome. Pierre's like, where are the laser beams?
Yeah.
Why were there no furries in my Little Women?
Alright.
It'd be like me and you really enjoy it. Maybe Joe might even like it, but Pierre would not like Little Women.
Yeah, I was kind of going through the mindset, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, he made you read B-Stars, so.
That's true. But I'm gonna make him read something.
So I'm guessing you gave this one a 7?
Yeah. You gave this one... I go 4.
Yeah. I didn't, like, hate it. And there are parts I like, but I just wasn't vibing with it, as the kids say. One movie that I did vibe with, however, was American Honey. I mean, I guess I didn't vibe with it because I was incredibly uncomfortable with it most of the time.
Yeah.
But American Honey, this is like a road epic. This is a long movie. But I was into it. I didn't... I feel like I was more enthralled with most of it than like Wuthering Heights. And, I don't know. Easy synopsis. Sasha Lane plays this character named Star. She gets indoctrinated into like a pyramid scheme, pretty much, where they take pretty much children around the country and get them to like sell magazines to old people and rich people and just anyone. And then they get like 20% of the cut. This is a very effective metaphor for capitalism as a whole. Because you see, Crystal represents the big dog.
Yeah.
And Jake represents the petite bourgeoisie. The people that we constantly like yell at, but the ones that don't actually hold that much power. The ones that are being attacked from the top and the bottom. The ones that aren't really the problem. We need to go after the top. We need to kill Crystal.
I mean, I'm sure Star felt that way through.
Crystal's the worst. Crystal is evil. Like
Crystal's character is not very nice.
Like, there are a lot of other characters in this that are questionable, but actually the only genuinely, like, good characters that I can think of are that one truck driver who's just, like, a nice dude who, like, talks about his daughter and is like, I'll buy 2 of those.
Oh, yeah.
I expected the worst.
I thought you meant the guy from the oil field.
No, not that guy. That guy's the worst. No, the first guy. The one that... And I like what they did there, because they're like, oh, maybe the people are nice. And then the next truck guy, they're like, oh, that guy's evil. You want to have sex with me?
The Darth Vader girl seemed nice.
Yeah, I think her name was Pagan. I think that was Pagan. At one point, she, like... This is a better Star Wars movie than Episode 9, I'll say that much.
She understands Darth Vader.
She's like, do you know what Darth Vader looks like under the suit? He's a skeleton. I'm like, that's not true. We see Darth Vader under the suit in Episode 6. What do you mean?
I think I was more shocked and appalled that Star, someone who's named after the literal Death Star, didn't know what Darth Vader looked like under his mask.
Star also seems like the type of person that just kind of wants to see where a conversation goes, though. So she might have just been like, no, what does he look like?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and at one point, Pagan wakes up in, like, or has a sleepwalking episode where she's like, I gotta do the Kessel Run, and, like, grabs a TV remote and just out in the parking lot, like, pew, pew. That was a great scene.
Yeah.
That was one of the scenes that gave me joy. There are, like, 3 of those in this movie. The rest are, I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the movie starts off, she's basically just, like, fucking watching some other people's kids, like, long term, like
kids. So they're her stepmother's children.
Oh, okay.
The Misty is their mother, but she was technically her stepmother. Yeah, that first that opening's rough. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So she's watching the kids,
and yeah, basically
take a chicken from the dumpster and then don't eat it. They just kind of poke it with a fork. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, they had ham. Because it's like they have ham and the kid's like stabbing it in the kitchen.
Oh, was that a ham? I thought it was like a roast of chicken that you roast.
No, it's like one of those hams that you buy that's like that.
Okay.
The kid was calling it a chicken when he was stabbing it, but it was a ham.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, then they cook it and you see it's got like the fucking stab marks on the plate from when the kid was just like having at it.
That's right.
But yeah, basically.
And then her birth father's like trying to fuck her.
Yeah, and
I'm like, yo, it's fish tank.
It's like, give me a dance, baby, and she starts like sobbing in his arms.
And right before this, she had met Shia LaBeouf and had been like
at Kmart or something.
Yeah, and been like, he had offered her a job, and he's like, she pretty much decides after her father's abusive to her again, and she's like, okay, I'm going. So she drops the kids off with their mother, and she's like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom, and then just starts sprinting out.
Yep. So she goes to the Motel 6 where he told her to meet her for a job, and she does.
And she meets a bunch of fucking white people. There are only white people on that van. Yeah. I was like, is she gonna be hate crimed? I mean, kind of. In the sense that she had to be around these people while they just are, like, screaming the N-word and a guy's, like, flipping out his cock all the time.
Yeah, there's a running bit that a couple of them have where one of them will pull out his dick and, like, a couple of them will, like, chase him down and
beat the shit out. Well, it's like they're like, don't do that. And then later on, he's the one that has, like, they have a fight club. This whole pyramid scheme's so fucked.
Oh yeah,
because like
it's just like
so Crystal
chaos.
pays. So Crystal, the mob boss, pretty much. She's probably only like 4 years older than most of them. Like she doesn't look. She looks like she's like 25, and most of these people are. I'm guessing supposed to be like anywhere from like 18 to like 22.
Yeah, there's the one character who's like from Nashville who's like younger because they call him like the baby of the group. I think he's supposed to be like 16 or 17.
And I feel like a lot of them lie about their age because I don't think that Star's 18 either. Like, she says that, but I'm like, I have a feeling she's lying. Shia LaBeouf, I have no idea how old his character's supposed to be.
30s.
30? Jesus Christ. I wish he wasn't a piece of shit. He's really good in this movie.
Yeah, he's a great fucking actor. Just a terrible fucking person.
Like, I don't need to support him. I don't care about, like, if he has a new movie coming out. Like, I don't give a shit about supporting him. But it's just, like, you just don't have to be a piece of shit. You're successful. You don't have to be the worst person on earth. But you're just abusive to people. It's like, did you not understand? Did you not learn anything from Andrea Arnold and her movies, sir?
Right. Like, I don't know if Andrea Arnold is, like, fucking made any comments on Shia since that shit came out, but I know like a bunch of fucking like I know fucking Sia came out and I was like, yeah, he was kinda hard to work with. I support
Sia. What did Sia? Oh yeah, that's right.
Chandelier.
Sia's also the worst though too.
I don't know much about Sia.
Oh, have you not heard about Music?
No.
Oh, she directed a movie earlier this year about a person with autism. And she didn't cast anyone who had, like, autism. And when asked about it, a bunch of, like, autistic actors were like, hey, I could have gotten this, like, I could have auditioned for this role. There are tons of us. And she's like, maybe none of you are good. Like, that's what she says in response to it. She just, like, doubles down. She's like, maybe you all suck at acting. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Wonderful.
And in general, apparently just the movie's, like, really rough for, like, as talking about people with autism, just in general. It's just, like, rough. I haven't watched it because it seemed bad and seemed like not the type of bad that I would like to laugh at right now. But I'll probably throw it in the bag next round once we eventually finish that off.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll just pick it.
Maybe.
I do love making you sad sometimes, and obviously you do too because you picked all these movies.
Yeah, I like depressing good movies. You like bad depressing.
I like movies that make you angry at me. Oh my god, it's hot.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the recording situation. I'm gonna stand behind everybody.
No, it'll be great. Actually, that might be. We should just have 2 rows.
There we go.
We'll put the loud people in the back.
Sit on a chair. But yeah,
maybe we should start doing it outside.
Maybe.
Just with all the noise, neighborhood noise. La, 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 la.
Yeah, right.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were talking about Shia LaBeouf, but I was talking about how Crystal's the worst. But she takes like 80% of all the money, and she's like, well, we need it for gas and for rooms. And I'm like, you're staying at motels, and usually you're getting like 4 rooms. That's like probably like $160, $200 a night, because most of these motels aren't very nice. Yeah, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. Because most of these people, Shia LaBeouf talked about like $300 on a good day. And I'm like, okay, let's average a regular person just gets like 100. There's like 20 fucking people there. That's like $2,000. You're taking so much fucking money from these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Capitalism!
There are so many times where like Crystal is just chewing Star out like, you'll be gone. I'll get you out of here. And it's like,
do it.
You shouldn't have to. Crystal should leave of her own volition.
Yeah, Star, get away. Yeah.
Star. It's like, yeah, just like all the flags are red. Get out of there.
Yeah.
But I mean, she stays.
She sticks it out. Apparently, she's not super smart. She puts herself in danger a lot to try to get money. Like she jumps in these cowboys, these fucking old guys with big 10-gallon hats car, and she sells them stuff. And
yeah.
By like flirting with them, kind of. And
thankfully, the worst we saw was just they were trying to get her really drunk.
Yeah, and then Shia LaBeouf shows up with a gun and just starts shooting. He doesn't shoot them, but he's like, and then they steal his car. They steal their car and then just kind of ditch it, and they're like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then later she does sleep with a guy for like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have ended much worse too.
I like to think that she didn't sleep with the guy.
What does he rub himself against her?
Because basically, well, because she's like, jerking him off at first, and he's like, you know what, can you just like reveal yourself and I'll just...
Yeah. Then he's like, you don't want to get a kiss goodnight? I'm like, well, no, you're gross. Yeah. And then Shia LaBeouf like freaks out, and she's like, I was doing this for us, because he wants to get like a cabin in the woods. And she's like, I got us money. And then he like leaves, and she's like, he sleeps with all the girls. And there's just a lot of like drama, because all these people are like teenagers. Mm-hmm. None of them, they're all being exploited by this woman, and they're all like horribly raised and racist and probably homophobic. And it's like, just overall, Crystal just gets worse and worse. Like later on, most of the time they're taking on like rich people, and I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Sell magazines to rich people all you want. Like exploit them as much as you want. They're rich. I don't give a shit. But then she's like, okay, this town's really poor, and I'm from here. Let's take advantage of them. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep.
Crystal is evil. Good performance though. Good evil performance. She should.
She'd thrive there.
In general, the like central 3 performances are Sasha Lane. I really like her. Mm-hmm. She's the main character. She's been in a couple other things I've seen. Like she's in this movie called The Miseducation of like Cameron Post or something like that.
Oh, that's
the conversion therapy. Like
it's the one with
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chloe Grace Moretz is also kind of the worst.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Sasha Lane's just being like stuck with people that are just like mean in real life. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But Sasha Lane's fantastic in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really, really like this. Good like use of music too. Oh, I was gonna say about Wuthering Heights. There's like a lot of like just ambient music throughout, and like a nice score. And then there's randomly like a song right at the end.
Yeah,
and it like took me. I'm like, whoa! I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, right.
It just came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh!
But
yeah.
Yeah.
It's It's a short director deep dive today.
Yeah.
Do you think there's just like not a lot to say about these movies because they're more like small scale, or do you think it's because we're hot and we're like rushing through these movies?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like with some of these director deep dives, it's like we'll come across like similar topics.
Yeah, and like there's overarching themes throughout all our movies. There are overarching themes through like Lei Chang-dong's movies. Mm-hmm. Like these directors that have like a smaller body of work tend to have like a big overarching theme throughout all of them.
Yeah,
like Kelly Reichardt was the same thing. Mm-hmm. And like in general, the themes in Kelly Reichardt films and these films are very similar because in general, women understand that they're being oppressed by men. Yeah.
Weird. You think they wouldn't notice. But, yeah. No, I liked it. I'd say I overwhelmingly liked most of the movies that we watched today.
Yeah, I really enjoyed pretty much all of them except Wuthering Heights, but even Wuthering Heights, like, I didn't hate my time with. Like, I appreciate what it's going for. It just wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm. I quickly learned how dark the source material was gonna be. I basically was just like...
Yeah, I thought it was just like a romance. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, because I blind picked at this director. I was just like, it's been a while since I picked a director. Let me put together a couple list ideas on Letterboxd, and I randomly picked one. She was one that I had stashed aside, so... But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I know her by name now, and I will be looking out for her future projects.
Did you give this movie a 7?
Yeah, I'd probably give this one a 7. You would give this one like an 8.
Yeah, 8. So I didn't write my ranking for you, but
I didn't even come up with a ranking.
I guess I can just Fish Tank, American Honey for me. I mean, Fish Tank, American Honey. Red Road, Wasp, Wuthering Heights.
Probably Fish Tank, Wasp. It is so simple but so well executed.
Gave it a 6.
Well, I mean, it's a short.
Shorts don't deserve love.
Let me see.
Flabby arms.
Probably...
Wasp again. It's so good.
Fucking... Wuthering Heights. American Honey. Then... Red Road.
Cool. Yeah. What are we watching next week, Thomas? Did you not pick something?
I thought it was your turn.
No.
Well, I've got...
I also...
I've got something I can pick.
If not, I can...
We're going to be watching... Let me open up my Letterboxd. It's a double feature
So I picked Mystery Train and Night on Earth.
Ah, yes. Carol and Desert Hearts.
Carol
is based off of The Price of Salt, which is a book I read like half of a year ago to 2 years ago. And I've been meaning to finish that book. I will probably finish it before I watch the movie because it's real short. It's like less than 100 pages, I think. And yeah, Desert Hearts came out in 1985. They're both about like kind of younger woman falling in love and having like romance with like a slightly older woman. So yeah.
Desert Hearts, 1985, that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Exciting. Cool. Epic even. Woo! We'll see you next time on Screen Weens.
Oh yeah.